Hey there, buddy. Let me guess you are probably feeling pretty overwhelmed these days, right? Maybe your mind's been racing around at night, making it tough to catch some sleep. You lie there in bed, eyes fixed on the ceiling, revisiting all the things that went wrong or that could go wrong in the future. You tell yourself to just stop, to calm down, but that tight feeling in your chest and gut just won't let go. The stress, the doubts, the first that gnawing feeling. You might act upbeat during the day, cracking a smile here and there, but inside it's like a quiet war is raging. You're not the only one feeling this way. Honestly, most of us carry way more weight than we're willing to admit. We stress over money, relationships, what the future holds, and what other folks might think of us. We try to plan everything precisely, control every possible outcome, but somehow it just never feels enough. So, what's the answer? Here's something you probably wouldn't expect. What if the solution to all that worry isn't a fancy new app, or even talking to a therapist, though those can help, but something ancient? I'm talking about wisdom from over 2,000 years ago. I mean Stoicism, a powerful philosophy that was practiced by Roman emperors, soldiers, slaves, and scholars alike. And guess what? It's still relevant today. Because back then, just like now, life was unpredictable. People faced war, betrayal, sickness, heartbreak. They couldn't control the chaos swirling around them. But they did learn to control how they responded to it. That's the real lesson. That's what I want to share with you today. You're about to discover 8 Stoic habits that can help you stop worrying, not just temporarily, but in a deep, meaningful way. These aren't just tips, they're about shifting your mindset. Ancient tools that can build a sense of peace inside you, even when the world around you feels like it's falling apart. And don't worry, this isn't some boring lecture. You won't need a degree in philosophy to follow along. Everything we talk about will be practical, straightforward, and real. Whether you're a student, a parent, an entrepreneur, or just someone trying to get through each day, this is for you. Let me start with a quick personal story before we dive in. A few years ago, I was completely stuck, overwhelmed beyond words. I was checking my phone over and over, around 80 times a day, refreshing emails, chasing validation, drowning in endless overthinking. I thought worrying meant I was being responsible, but really, it just meant I didn't trust myself. One night, I stumbled across a quote from Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who kept journals during wars and plagues. It went, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That hit me like a lightning bolt. I realized I'd spent years trying to control everything outside, but I'd never once tried to master my own mind. That's when everything started to change. I began reading more, practicing Stoic habits, and rewiring how I handled stress. And here's the best part. You don't need to overhaul your whole life to find peace. You just need to change how you see your life. That's what these 8 habits are designed to do. We'll examine each one step by step. You'll hear quotes from real Stoic thinkers, and I'll share real-world examples of how these habits have helped not just ancient philosophers but people just like you and me. This isn't just a video, it's a conversation. So take a deep breath. You're not broken. Worrying doesn't make you weak, it's just part of being human. But you are powerful enough to change your response. And that's exactly what we're about to do. If what I've said hits home, do me a favor. Type in the comments, "I choose peace over control." If this resonates with you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Drop your thoughts along the way. I read every single comment. Now, let's get started. The first habit is to master the art of premeditation. Let me ask you, have you ever worried about something that never even happened? Of course, you have. We all have. We picture the worst-case scenarios, things like a breakup, losing your job, embarrassing yourself, falling a land suddenly. Our bodies respond as if it's already real. That worry takes over. But the Stoics had a powerful way of dealing with that. They called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Seneca once said, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." At first glance, it might seem negative, thinking about bad things that could happen. But the opposite is true. It's not about making yourself afraid, it's about being prepared. Every morning, a Stoic would ask, what could go wrong today? What trials might I face? What insults or setbacks could come my way? What losses might happen? By calmly imagining the worst, they took away its power over them. They made peace with it before it even arrived. Here's how you can apply this habit today. Before an important meeting, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen, and how would I handle it with strength and grace? Before making a big decision, think, if I lost everything, what would I still have inside me? As you start your day, ask, what could test my patience today? Who might provoke me? And how will I respond? Think like a Stoic, not a slave to your emotions, because worry comes from the unknown. But if you walk into a challenge having already mentally rehearsed possible outcomes, you become unshakable. Sure, you might still feel nervous, but you won't be ruled by that feeling. Instead, you'll be prepared the way you want to respond, your dignity intact, your calm steady. That's what makes you stronger than 99% of people who blindly go into life hoping for peace but preparing for nothing. So, beginning today, before your day starts or an upcoming challenge, take just 2 minutes. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and walk through what could go wrong. Then calmly remind yourself, I am ready. That's the power of Stoicism, preparing yourself, not for the absence of problems, but to face them with resilience. Moving on to the second habit practice, the control test. Have you ever found yourself worried about something totally out of your hands? The weather, what people think, past mistakes, the economy, whether someone responds to your message. We've all been there. The more you focus on control you don't have, the more helpless you feel. That's where one of the most impactful Stoic tools comes in, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, famously said, "Some things are up to us and some are not." Simple words, but they hold the key to peace. The Stoics believe that everything falls into two bins. First, those things you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, your values. And second, everything outside your control: other people, outcomes, your past, most of what happens in the future. Here's where most of us go wrong. We pour 90% of our energy into things we can't control and wonder why we feel anxious or worn out. A Stoic, however, redirects that energy. When criticized, a Stoic doesn't obsess over what was said. They focus on how they respond. When faced with uncertainty, they don't try to predict the future. They prepare their mind. When betrayed, they don't drown in pain. They stay committed to their own integrity. This is the control test. Every time worry pops up, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Drop it like a stone in the ocean. If it's within your control, focus only on what you can do. Here's how to build this habit today. When your mind starts spinning, pause and ask, is this in my control? If not, imagine dropping that worry into the water. It sinks and disappears. Then ask, what is in my control right now? Take action accordingly. Say someone insulted you online. Can you control their words? No. Can you control whether you respond calmly or stoop to their level? Yes. Did you get that job you wanted? No. Can you control whether you improve your skills and try again? Absolutely. When you live this way, something incredible happens. Your mind gets leaner, your emotions become more efficient, and your spirit grows stronger. You stop wasting energy fighting wind and start directing it toward what truly matters. And gradually, worry begins to diminish, not because life becomes easier, but because your mindset becomes resilient. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. I want you to drop that in the comments. I control my actions, not the world. Next up, habit number 3, limit the inputs to protect your mind. Be honest. How many times have you felt anxious, not because of your life itself, but because of what you saw, heard, or consumed? Maybe it was a negative news story, a toxic friend ranting about politics, a social media post that made you feel behind or insecure. Most of your stress isn't even yours, it's imported. That's why the Stoics were intentional about what they allowed into their minds. Seneca advised, Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you can improve too. The same applies today. It's not just about people, it's about everything you expose yourself to. You can't fill your head with trash and expect peace. So here's a powerful habit: set boundaries for what you take in. Limit your social media unfollow accounts that make you feel insecure or angry. Cut down your news intake to just 5 or 10 minutes a day. Choose your sources carefully. Distance yourself from people who complain constantly, gossip, or spread fear. Curate your digital environment. Feed your mind wisdom, strength, clarity, and calmness, not noise. This isn't about ignorance. It's about protecting your energy. The Stoics believed your mind is like a garden. If you don't weed it regularly, peace won't grow. And here's the deeper reason why this works: worry is fueled by attention. If you starve worry of its food, it dies. You don't need to react to every opinion, absorb every story, or carry around pain that isn't yours. A calm mind isn't passive, it's protected. Start building a mental gate. Every time you get information, pause and ask yourself, does this strengthen me or weaken me? If it weakens you, don't give it your time. Drop it like a bad habit. As Epictetus put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. But think about it: what if your reactions are shaped by what you let in? Control your input, and you hold the key to your peace. Drop a comment with "I protect my mind like a warrior" if you're committed. Now, habit number 4: daily reflection. Imagine every night, instead of doom scrolling or stressing out, you sat quietly and asked yourself, how did I live today? That's what the Stoics did. They believed that one of the best ways to shake off anxiety is to review your day. This isn't about judging, you're so far from it. It's about understanding. Seneca wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said." Think about how much worry comes from unprocessed thoughts, things we never understood, emotions we ignored, mistakes we never learned from. Instead of pushing the day away and rushing into tomorrow, the Stoic pauses and faces it. They ask, did I act with courage today? Did I let outside circumstances control my peace? Did I say something I regret? Did I stay true to my values? By reflecting daily, the Stoic isn't just remembering what happened, they're reprogramming their mind. Over time, this turns you into a mental warrior. You start to see patterns: what triggers you, what drains you, what lifts you up. You become more aware, more disciplined, more connected to your principles. Here's how to build this habit. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each night. Sit quietly, breathe, ask yourself, what did I do well today? What can I improve tomorrow? Be honest. Keep a journal if you can, it's your mirror. And if you had a rough day, good, know you know where to grow. Worry flourishes when we run from our past, but when we face it honestly and calmly, it loses its grip. Marcus Aurelius did this every night. He didn't write for others. He wrote to stay grounded and humble, and you can do the same. This act of reflection helps you sleep with clarity and wake up with purpose. Over time, your mind stops spinning because you've grounded yourself. And a grounded mind doesn't get swept away by fear. Next, we come to the 5th habitam or fati, which means loving whatever fate brings, accepting it, not just passively but with love. Let me ask, how much of your worry is fueled by resisting reality? You didn't want that relationship to end, that opportunity to slip away, that bad news to come. Instead of accepting, you fight it. You replay, question, wish things were different. That resistance feeds worry, sadness, even bitterness. The Stoics had a radical solution: amor fati, love of fate. It's about not just accepting what happens, but actually loving it and seeing every twist as part of your path, not a punishment. Friedrich Nietzsche was heavily influenced by Stoicism, and he described his idea of greatness. My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, wanting nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in eternity. That's tough to stomach. How do you love something painful? Here's the secret. It's not about liking pain itself. It's about realizing that pain can shape you. It's about saying, this happened, I can't change it, but I will use it. You didn't choose that breakup, but maybe it will lead you to rediscover yourself. You didn't choose that failure, but maybe it will teach humility and persistence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When you see problems and setbacks as fuel instead of obstacles, life becomes meaningful. Here's how to apply this habit. When something bad happens, pause, breathe. Say, "Am or fatty." Then ask yourself, how can this shape me? What can I learn? How do I use this instead of being used by it? Move forward with purpose. You'll notice something profound. Worry turns into curiosity. Pain transforms into wisdom. Even at life's worst moments, they become part of your story, meaningful and shaping who you are. This isn't about positivity in disguise. It's about strength, kind that's rooted in loving your fate, no matter what. A person who loves whatever life throws at them becomes unbreakable. Next, number 6, stay present. Don't let the future steal your today. Most worry isn't about what's happening right now. It's about what might happen later. You fret over getting sick, losing your job, or messing up a relationship next week, next month, or next year. But right now, this very second you are breathing, you're alive, you're safe. That's when the Stoics offer one of their most powerful habits, living fully in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius said, "Confine yourself to the present. Think about thatonly now." He added, "Never let the future disturb you. You'll meet it if you have toith the same tools of reason that help you today." Real strength, the Stoics believed, comes from living fully in the now. Because the past is gone and the future isn't here yet. The only thing you truly own is this moment. Worry makes you live in a time that doesn't exist. But if you train yourself repeatedly to come back to this moment, you regain your power. Here's how. Throughout the day, keep asking yourself, where am I right now? Am I here or lost in what-ifs? When worry starts creeping, gently pull yourself back. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the sounds around you. Focus on your breath. Create little moments of mindfulness while drinking tea, walking, talking. Be present. Because living fully in the moment is a spiritual weapon. The more you do it, the less worry has a place to grow. You realize right now, there's no disaster. Right now, there's no enemy, just you in the present. And that's enough. Stoicism isn't about pretending bad things won't happen. It's about training yourself to face whatever does unfold when it actually arrives, not in some endless what-if scenario. The more you stay in the present, the less space worry has to breathe. Make this your daily mantra. Right now is enough. Because in this moment I am alive, and that is power. Write it down if you're done living in the past. I live fully in the present. Now, habit number 7, deliberate voluntary discomfort. Here's a paradox. One of the best ways to stop worrying about the future is to practice discomfort now. Why? Because when you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you stop fearing what's coming next. Seneca, a wealthy Stoic, would intentionally sleep on the floor, eat plain food, and wear rough clothes. He said, "Set aside some days where you're content with the simplest stuff, with coarse clothing, and ask yourself, is this what I feared?" Why would he do that? Because he knew that if you can endure voluntary hardship, involuntary hardship won't break you. Most worry comes from unfamiliar pain. But if you train yourself to handle discomfort, rejection, failure, I will stop seeing it as so scary. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about preparing yourself. Try skipping a meal and see how strong you feel without it. Take a cold shower and remind yourself you can handle discomfort. Say no to small pleasures now and then wake up early even when it's hard, and do the hard thing first. Every time you do this, you're proving a simple truth. You're stronger than your comfort zone. Once you see yourself this way, worries weaken because you realize life is full of storms. But if you've practiced walking in the rain, you won't panic when the skies open up unexpectedly. Here's the deep beauty of this habit: when you stop chasing comfort at all costs, you stop fearing discomfort altogether. That's true freedom. A Stoic isn't trying to create a life free of problems. They're building a mind that can face any problem head-on. So challenge yourself. Disrupt your comfort zone, live a little harder today, and you'll live freer tomorrow. Because the less you fear discomfort, the less you fear life itself. And if you're walking through a storm, comment, I grow stronger through challenge. Finally, number 8, live by virtue, not results. Here's a thing many overlook. People tend to obsess over the outcome instead of the process. They ask, will I succeed? Will others like me? What if I fail? And because outcomes are uncertain, worry sneaks in. But the Stoics taught something much deeper. It's about focusing on what's right, not just what's successful. It's about doing the right thing, living with integrity regardless of how things turn out. Epictetus said, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. That's about aligning your actions with your valuations, courage, discipline, kindness. When you do that, you've already won even if the world doesn't notice. Worry often comes from chasing external approval, money, fame, status. But peace originates from living true to yourself, regardless of what others think. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this, saying, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. So before taking action, ask yourself, is this right? Not, will this make me successful, or will I look foolish? Instead, focus on virtue. Will this decision risk align with who I am? If yes, you've already succeeded. You don't need to control how others see you or the final outcome. You only need to control your choices. When your actions are guided by virtue, peace naturally follows. Many Stoics weren't obsessed with fame or achievement. They cared about being strong, wise, and virtuous even when no one was watching. That's where true peace lies. You can't always control how life ends, but you can control how you live it. Shift your focus from chasing external validation to being authentic, from outcomes to effort, from fear to virtue, and watch your worry evaporate. If you're committed to living with honor, type in the comments, I live by virtue, not fear. Worry is a thief. It quietly steals your peace and joy over time. But the Stoics knew, and now you doth it, you're not powerless. You may not control life's storms, but you can train your mind to stay calm in the middle of them. Remember, you're not here to be shaken by every fear. Your job is to master yourself. Let the world spin, let others panic, stress, chase while you remain rooted, steady, and peaceful. That's what true power is. That's what real peace looks like. If this message resonates, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's grow this community of Stoic warriors stronger together. And as you finish, claim your power. Drop in the comments, I choose calm. I choose strength. I choose Stoicism.